This Tamil superhero film is so new and refreshing that it will put the latest DC and Marvel films to shame, and no one is talking about it. Let's change that. Hello guys, I'm Nona, and today we're talking about Maaveeran, written and directed by Madonne Ashwin, whose last film Mandela I really liked. Now I missed this film in theaters because I was not well and there was no clarity about subtitles. And finally when it came out on streaming, I watched it live on my other channel Nona Prince Reacts, and soon that reaction will be out there too. Now I'm a big superhero fan. I have a separate channel where we talk about all the superhero stuff from DC and Marvel. And the big thing that goes with superhero nowadays is the superhero fatigue. That people are tired with superhero films. There are so many of them. It's the same thing over and over again. There's nothing new, there's nothing refreshing. But in Indian context, we are far from that. We don't get much superhero films because most of our films with our big heroes, they are already superheroes, so we don't need them. But still, we get few gems here and there. One of my favorite Indian superhero film is Bhavesh Joshi's Superhero. If you haven't seen, must check it out. And after that, this is the film that has impressed me at so many levels. First, let's talk about the story. It is so refreshing. It's not a typical superhero film where the hero gets a power and then he has to save the whole world. There's a crisis. They have to fight aliens. Nothing like that. It's set in the Indian context. And in Indian context, who are the villains? The politician, the system, who oppress the people, who mistreat them. Those are the things that affect us in day-to-day life. And the film shows that. It stays grounded. It shows the reality. It shows what matters to us Indians. The problems we face, the corruption, the inhumane living standards. And to bring justice to the suppressed people comes the hero, comes the warrior. Which brings the second thing, the concept, the idea of superhero. The way this film deals with it, it is so unique. The superpower of an artist is storytelling. He didn't get struck by lightning. He doesn't have fancy gadgets. He doesn't have superhuman strength. What he has is the narration of his life as if he's a superhero. And he only knows what's gonna happen in the imminent future. That he can predict what's coming his way. And the way this is presented on screen is just brilliant. Just the restraint the film had to not go into fancy action scene. To not have that moment where the hero beats 10-20 people. Instead, spend time on designing it. Designing the fight scene. The way the action set piece is established. It's a product of clever writing. And you know, I love a good subversion of expectations. And this film is full of that. It's not predictable at all. And that feeling that the film is always 2 steps ahead of you is just exciting. The moment you think now you know what the hero will do and what will unfold ahead, no, you are wrong. Something totally opposite will happen. And the next thing is the hero's arc. It is so unconventional because you have a protagonist who's a coward, who's selfish, who's so submissive, who just runs away from confrontation, who cannot stand for himself. He just believes in adjust and live, don't bother anyone. And we get to know why, because there's a backstory with his father that he was full of courage. He used to fight for the right, which led to his death, and he doesn't want to end up like him. I wish the film explored this more. Now the great thing about the film is that it shows you that courage is not the absence of fear but overcoming it. Who is a hero? Who stands for the right thing. The superpowers doesn't make the hero great. The hero is already great. It just enhances it. And a superhero is always a hero who just becomes super because of the powers. It's not the powers that define the hero. It's the actions they commit. The powers are meaningless if you don't use them for the right reasons. And throughout the film, our protagonist is running away from his fate. He is being selfish. Even when he gets his powers, he's not using them for the right thing because he has not learned his lesson. And by the end, when he learns the lesson, he doesn't need the powers because he needs to find his own battle, his own fight. He has to stand up on his own, write his own story, and not just listen to someone narrating it to him. He has to take his actions in his own hands to rise up, to fight, from a warrior to become a great warrior, Maaveeran. And the way the film accomplished all of this is so well done. Now there are some shortcomings for the film too. Now the film is definitely packaged to have a mass appeal. It wants to reach a wider audience and needs to have some familiar aspects, and it is meant to be watched in theater. Watching it at home, it definitely feels long. It could have been a crisp edit. There is a song at the start which again I think is for the fans. There's a lot of genuine comedy in the film which works at so many points, but there are some moments which could have been let go. The female companion to the protagonist is just there to give a pep talk to the hero. She doesn't have her own agency in the narrative. In the climax, that restraint I was talking about wasn't present. They wanted to scale up the climax, make it big, but it really didn't work, especially for this narrative, because mostly throughout the film it stays grounded, but just at the climax moment, because you want to show something big, it's a very VFX heavy scene and it just doesn't work. It just becomes too far-fetched for this story. But The ending of the film was very fascinating. And then we get a post-credit scene also, if you may, which I really enjoyed. I know it's something which a lot of people are not happy about. The opinions on it is very mixed, but I really enjoyed it because there's so much to talk about it. So it's a very interesting ending to the narrative, but keeping it open for a sequel maybe. And I personally like it. It's fun, it's exciting, it's different, it's unique. What are your thoughts about it? Definitely let me know in the comments below. I would love to discuss. The music throughout the film was really good, especially the theme music for the villain. Technically the film is shot well. There were some moments where you can tell it's VFX, but I let that go considering the budget of the film. Coming to the cast, I think everyone did a great job. Sivakarthikeyan definitely shines because, as I said, he's playing a very different hero. He don't get to do such roles in mass films. Yogi Babu, as always, got a lot of laughs. The narration by Vijay Sethupathi, top notch. Mysskin was a good villain. I liked his erratic performance. The mother, played by Saritha, I think she did a really good job. The way she played the mother, it was so relatable. The emotional moments worked so well. I wish we had more scenes between the hero and the mother. And I liked, how all of them kept it very real. The way they react to all the situations is like how we will react if it happens with us at every moment. This film deserves so much attention and I hope it gets that. Now in this video you can check out my top 10 films from the first half of 2023, the first 6 months. Do you agree to the list? Let me know. Thank you for watching and I'll see you next time.